I'm Deborah Myberg, and I'm with Lisanne Toussard with Hong Kong's first winery, 8th Estate Winery. Lisanne, maybe you could tell me a little bit about the winery.
Sure. We just established about 2 years ago as a company in Hong Kong, and we opened our doors to the public about 10 months ago. So we're just developing wines that are actually produced here in Hong Kong. Our premise is that we travel around the world and find grapes that have had a really good growing year, harvest them, flash freeze them, and then bring them here to Hong Kong where they're entirely produced.
So how do you get them here? I mean, are they flying in the cargo of
no,
my airplane?
they're
how
in
do
a
they get here?
container on the ocean.
Water?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah.
so they're flash frozen, and
Yeah.
then what happens to them once they arrive in Hong Kong?
Well, they stay frozen until they get here, and so as soon as they arrive at our facility in Tatler, they just go into our production room and they start to thaw. We just let them thaw naturally.
And who had this idea?
It was a bit of a brainchild between a few different parties, a couple winemakers that have been using frozen grapes for a while, myself and my family, and the concept was in play in Canada for a little while, and we just thought it was a fantastic concept, and we thought, well, where would we apply it in the world? And after a bit of research and running around, Hong Kong seemed to make a lot of sense.
So the winery itself, what floor is it on?
It's on the third floor.
Third floor.
And
so are you the highest winery in the world?
I suppose we are. And actually we're right on the water's edge, so we're, traditionally not near the water when it comes to wineries, so we're very close to the water and we're very high up, so I think that, probably is a bit unique for a winery.
So the grapes arrive in the winery. What happens? You defrost?
Yep, they thaw, and we receive anywhere between 25 and 50 tons in one go. And
so how big is a ton? What's a ton look like? Is that the size of this table?
It's about the size of this table in a square block.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Now we've recently, for our second shipments, we've broken them down into smaller barrels because they thaw a bit quicker and they're more accessible and easier to maneuver. And then once they thaw, then they go into the fermenting process, and then it's like every other winery in the world.
So you add yeast.
Yeah.
They start bubbling away.
Yeah.
Do you have to do some punching
Yes,
down of the cap?
it's all manually done as well. I mean, we have big muscles, and we all get in there. We do the punching, and then we have a press, of course, and then moving into second fermentation after the pressing, and then, I mean, it's just like every other process, just on a small scale.
So how are you getting the wines into the market? I know we're sitting here at the Shang Palace where you're hosting a wine dinner in the next week or two, but what other things are you doing to build the market?
We're just starting to. Our wines actually were only started to release our reds a few months ago and started selling commercially a few months ago, so we're really just at the cusp of introducing ourselves. So we want to make sure our wines are ready to go, and as you know, that can take some time. So we're starting to get into the market by, we've had a lot of private clients come to us, and then we're starting to get into a few unique spots like the Shangri-La and a few small restaurants and bars and stuff.
And are you also producing private label? I have a special anniversary coming up. Can you put my name on the bottle?
Yes, we are doing that, but in a large quantity, by barrel purchase or above. So
you need a lot of friends.
Yeah, which could easily be found if you have a lot of wine. So it's probably not a bad thing.
And tell me about the styles of wine you're producing.
We've got reds, whites, and dessert wine right now. And our 2007, we got our grapes from Washington State. And we thought it was quite a good year, and a little bit obscure, mind you, but it was familiar. We're from that sort of region, and we could keep a close eye on it, and it was a nice thing to start with. It was a familiar thing to start with. So from 2007, we got Merlot, Shiraz, Cab Franc, and Cab Sauv in the reds. And in the white, we got Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc, and a Gewürztraminer. And then in the ice wines, or the dessert wines, we have a late harvest Cab Sauv, Cab Franc, and Shiraz.
Wait, late harvest Cab Sauv. Okay, that's unusual.
So a red late harvest, very different.
And in terms of food matching, what have you found thus far with your wines?
We actually did oak a few of our whites, our Cab Sauv our Sauvignon Blanc and our Chardonnay. We have both the oaked and unoaked versions, because we kind of were adjusting a little bit of the flavor to go with a lot of Asian dishes. So slightly sweeter, slightly more oaky flavor goes quite nicely with quite a few Asian dishes. But again, it's something that from year to year, because our varietals change, we can play around with. So if we find a need that a certain type of wine is becoming very popular, or might go very well with a type of cuisine that's very popular, we can adjust and adapt a little bit. So.
Okay, well, let's give it a try.
Sounds good. So this is our 2007 Sauvignon Blanc from Washington State. This is the unoaked version. We have a fumé as well, but this one is completely unoaked.
This is a much softer, riper style than we're used to seeing on our markets. none of the sort of green grassy aromatics that we get from down south.
Right. I think this is quite the unexpected Sauvignon Blanc that way. A lot of people ask for it and are a bit surprised because it is quite a bit different than what you'd normally be exposed to here. Yeah.
And how would you describe it?
Quite a bit apricot, quite fruity, and a lot more taste. It's not very acidic, and it's not your dry Sauvignon Blanc that you might get from down south.
So I see we have a crab claw, which is part of the menu you're intending to serve at the Sheng Palace,
right?
With the wines.
That's right. This particular Sauvignon Blanc goes very well with a variety of seafood. So we've matched it with the crab claw here, which should go quite nicely. Yeah.
So you're looking for what, the sweetness of the crab meat with some of the fruitiness of the wine?
Yeah, I think so. I think it would be a nice mixture with a lot of bold flavors in it.
Well, they do go well. I think one of the challenges of food matching is whether to drink the wine first, eat the food first, or try to get them both in the mouth at the same time.
We'll try a little bit of everything.
And I think if the wine has good length, you don't have to worry about that because the flavor lasts through the first bite.
Absolutely. And this one does have a bit of length to it. So. Okay, so this is also 2007, Washington State. This is the unoaked Chardonnay. So we had, again, two versions of this. We have the oaked and unoaked Chardonnay. This one, of course, is a little bit drier, a little less sweet than our oaked version.
It's a much more restrained nose than the Sauvignon Blanc.
Yes, yeah.
The lovely thing about unoaked Chardonnay is it goes quite well with steamed dishes and more subtle flavors.
Yes, which of course you get a lot here, which is wonderful. Yeah. And of course the color is completely different, which is it's nice. I mean, with our whites and our reds as well, we wanted to have quite a variety of tastes and styles to, hopefully find something that somebody would like. Because as you know, wine is such a personal thing, and you want to find something that somebody would enjoy. It might not be what everybody enjoys, but if you have enough range of flavors and tastes, hopefully something will match in there.
It's interesting, this one, because it has a higher acidity, it acts more like an enlivener, whereas the other one has more of the fruity complement to the sweetness of the meat.
Which one do you prefer?
Probably the Chardonnay, but I think because it brings out the flavor of the meat a bit more. Okay, so we have two wines in front of us. What are we tasting?
This one here is our 2007, again, Washington State, and it's our Heritage Blend. So it is a Bordeaux blend. It's a mix of Merlot, Cabernet Franc, and Cabernet Sauvignon. So,
and it has a bit of oak on it. I can smell a nice oak spice.
Yes, it was aged in brand new American oak, so it has quite a bit of oak sensation at the beginning.
So you haul the barrels all the way to Hong Kong?
Yes, yeah. We took our first shipment of barrels was in 2007 with all brand new American oak. In 2008 we got a bit of aged oak. We've got some older French oak and some Russian oak as well. So we've got quite a mix now. In our inventory right now we've got 350 barrels that are full for both the 2007 2008s. So yeah, it's kind of nice to have that diversity too, because of course
350 barrels.
Yeah. And of course, they all lend a little different flavor, and that's why we wanted some older oak for our Italians for 2008. They needed a bit softer oaking, and so that's where we brought in some French and Hungarian oak, because it was a little bit softer, and they could age a little bit longer without having too much oak effect to them.
Yeah. And the second one?
This one is, again, 2007, and this is our Shiraz, Washington State again. And
which is a specialty of Washington.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And this one actually is not like your traditional Shiraz that you might find from the Southern Hemisphere. It's a bit less peppery, I think.
Actually, it's quite a bit more restrained than some of the riper Shiraz.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a bit different. Again, not what you might expect from a Shiraz, but
the texture is quite velvety.
I think that it's one of those things that you need to explore. If you're exposed to one type of Shiraz, it might be a little different for you, but that might be a really good thing too. So it's just, again, blending a few different flavors. This is the abalone with chicken and chicken broth.
There's quite a bit of oak spice on this first wine, which I thought might overwhelm the dish, but it seems to work okay.
Yeah. It's really interesting to try and go through the exploration of food with wines, and especially with Asian dishes, because that's a bit of a new thing for us, certainly, so we're trying to see what works, what doesn't.
a little bit more tannic, but it balances against the richness of the soup.
I agree, that does work quite nicely. And I do believe that this is the one that we are serving with us for the dinner.
With the soup.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well, thank you.
You're very welcome. Cheers.
Cheers.